Hi everyone, my name is Jessica, and this is going to be my presentation on mammal evolution across Earth's biomes. Here I have a list of topics that we are going to be covering during this presentation: introduction, questions that I'm going to be addressing, a discussion section, my conclusion, and then I will be listing my references at the very end. We can start with an introduction of mammals and what they are. They are a monophyletic vertebrate group defined by shared traits like hair or fur, mammary glands, and endothermy. These traits unite very differently looking species under a single evolutionary lineage. And on the side here, I have a picture that shows us where mammals are when you look up the tree of life. And I did this by going to toeweb.org. And mammals are in the clade Synapsida, a major branch of the Amniota. So mammal lineages. The first mammal, the first mammal appeared about 225 to 200 million years ago, and it originated during the late Triassic period. Modern mammals can be divided into three major lineages, and I have those lineages listed here. And it just goes to show that even though mammals vary enormously in size, behavior, and habitat, they form a single evolutionary lineage that has been divided into three lineages and have basically successfully colonized nearly every environment on Earth doing so. Here we will be covering feeding strategy, reproductive ecology, social behavior, and climate adaptations for mammal diversity distribution. Here we will be going over feeding strategy and reproductive ecology. So I have two separate categories: feeding strategies and reproductive ecology. For feeding strategies, feeding specialization determined where mammals could live. Reproductive strategies influence how successful populations could persist and spread. And together, these traits facilitated rapid diversification and broad geographic expansion. Mammalian diversification was driven not by diet or reproductive alone, but by the interaction between the two. So, feeding strategies opened new ecological opportunities, while reproductive traits ensured that offspring survival allowed mammals to establish stable populations across diverse environments. Here we are going to discuss social behavior and climate adaptation. I think it's really interesting to see how mammals can adapt to different climates, and I've seen this in my own pets, how moving from one climate to a different climate, and it takes them a while, but eventually they adapt to different climates, and how moving them back, eventually they'll take a while, but they adapt. And I've always found that kind of interesting, how their bodies, and they know how to do that. In our previous slide, we talked about how feeding strategies and reproduction shaped where mammals can live, and social behavior and climate adaptations help determine how well they survive. Mammals did not rely solely on physical traits to survive environmental change. Behavioral flexibility combined with physiological adaptations to climate helps mammals persist through extinction, uh, and expand into nearly every terrestrial and aquatic ecosystem. Here are some of the questions that I will be addressing in the remainder of this PowerPoint. Evolution of size in mammals. So I have a chart here, kinda, where it just shows the evolution of body size in mammals. And early mammals were small bodied, which helped them survive in dinosaur dominated resources and supporting burrowing and nocturnal lifestyles. After the KPG extinction, many ecological niche became available, allowing mammals to evolve a wide range of body sizes, including large and herbivores and carnivores. So different lineages followed distinct evolutionary paths, resulting in both genetism and such as in whales and elephants, dwarfism in resource limited environments. So next we will talk about reproductive strategies and evolutionary advantages. So I have three different categories here. Our first one is placentation. Here, placentation enables longer in utero development, producing more developed offspring that are better suited for competitive or stable environments. Next, we have marsupials development, and marsupials benefit from shorter gestation, which lowers maternal risk and allows reproduction in unpredictable conditions. And then lastly, we have egg-laying monotremes. And in egg-laying, monotremes represent an alternative strategy that offers flexibility and reduced physiological costs while still allowing parental care after hatching. So next we have advanced communications and learning in mammals. So I think we see this a lot, especially in elephants and monkeys. Primates show advanced learning through social transmission, problem solving, and flexible communication. Bats and elephants exhibit sophisticated acoustic communication linked to navigation, social structure, and memory. And elephants have a really interesting way of learning and expressing themselves. Um, but advanced communication and learning behaviors have evolved in several mammalian lineages, particularly those with complex social structures. Primates and cetaceans, such as dolphins and whales, rely heavily on social learning, allowing behaviors to be transmitted across generational rather than learned individually. These cognitive traits are supported by extended parental care and taught to contribute to ecological flexibility and long-term survival. So, traits supporting mammalian persistent across diverse climates. Mammals are able to persist across diverse climates largely due to endothermy and insulating fur, which reduce dependence on external temperatures, behavioral strategies such as burrowing and social living further help mammals cope with thermal stress and reduce variability. Together, these traits provide resilience to climatic instability and have allowed mammals to survive major environmental changes through evolutionary over time. So we're going to go into our discussion section of the PowerPoint, and we're just going to discuss the most and least diversity seen in mammals. The highest species richness occurs usually in tropical regions, especially in tropical rainforests where Warm temperatures, high productivity, and stable climate support many niches. Rodents and bats dominate global diversity largely because they're small and they have flexible diets and high dispersal ability to allow rapid diversification. Polar regions and extreme environments show lower species richness, not because mammals can't survive there, but simply because fewer lineages can tolerate those conditions. And these patterns suggest that environmental stability and ecological opportunity play a pretty big role in shaping where mammal diversity peaks. I found kind of like a heat map online, and I thought it was a good map to represent how mammalian diversity with high species richness concentrated in tropical regions that we can see, um, like in the Amazon, Central America, Southeast Asia, and we can see diversity starts to decline towards higher latitudes, reflecting increased climatic extremes, lower primary productivity, and greater seasonality. These patterns help us see that warm, stable environments promote mammalian diversification, while harsher climates support fewer but often more specialized species. And I thought it was a really good map to visualize diversity. To continue our discussion, here we talk about how different clades dominate different ecosystems, such as bats, cetaceans, and rodents. Certain biomes promote notable innovations, such as the ones that I listed here. And these patterns show that mammalian diversity reflects both species richness and biomes driven morphological specialization. Some mammal clades diversify by producing many species, while others can diversify through extreme ecological morphological specialization tied to specific uh, environments. This brings us to the end of my presentation, where I just want to say that overall mammalian evolution reflects the interaction of phylogenetic history, key traits, evolution, and ecological opportunity across Earth's biomes. Traits such as flexible reproductive strategies, dietary specialization, behavioral complexity, and climatic tolerance have allowed mammals to survive major environmental changes and diversify globally. Um, this is to say that rather than relying on a single adaptation, mammalian success is best explained by the combination of multiple traits that enable persistence and diversification in both stable and extreme environments. Here are my list of references that I used to put together my PowerPoint. Feel free to check them out if you want more information on anything that was provided. That is the end of my presentation. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you for providing a peer review for my presentation. If you have any questions regarding anything that I provided, feel free to ask away in the peer review or in the comments section. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and happy Super Bowl Sunday, you guys.